Well, I like Sisel because it is we're like Captain Underdog. We're going to fight these fights, but we can do it together, and there can be tens of millions of us doing it, and we can have a lot of economic clout if we're like-minded. We might not be like-minded in one thing or another, and everybody has different viewpoints and interests. And like Will Rogers said, if you know who he was, he's one of our ex-distributors. But anyway, Will Rogers said this: I never met a person in my life that wasn't better at something than I am. And that's really true. We all have our own individual talents in the things that we pursue and that which we do. So if you never met anybody in his life that wasn't better at something than you are, and it's the same thing with all of us, isn't it? Really good old wisdom with that type of thing. So let's take those God-given abilities and powers we have and work on them. The ones that we're blessed with, let's use them. The ones we're not, let's build them back up so that we can do it. And that's what Sisel is, one of the things Sisel is about, because we want you to take back your life. We want you to do it economically, we want you to do it with your health, and we want to be a big factor in helping you as an individual with your free agency to create the kind of happiness that you want. And I think it's wrong for you to work hard all your life to accumulate things, to pay taxes, and everything you have is owned. You've paid the taxes on it, you have it. And when you die, the government is going to tax you on what they've already taxed you to take it away, so they can't take it, you can't give it to your children. Lawyers are going to come in, take this kind of thing, and you're going to be in a nursing home in some horrible condition, sitting around there while someone is spoon feeding you, changing your diaper, and for recreation you bat balloons back and forth to each other. Can you imagine that for a life? How about Moses? I like old Moses. He was the father of multi-level marketing. He didn't know what to do with all those children of Israel that he had. And so Jethro, his father-in-law, came up and said, organize 10s over 10s. Oh, that works. 10 over 10 over 10, we got the thing solved. He was the first multi-level marketer out there. And they were making manna, isn't that what it is? Manna from heaven. But anyway, that principle worked so well. But it says when Moses died, he died, I think he was 120 years old, according to the Bible, and they said he had not aged. Not a hair on his head had changed, see? And so he was built for the long term, and God took him back to heaven when his mission was done. So if Moses lived to 120, what did God do with it? There are certainly some things. Samson, was a powerful man. There's abilities to do things, but they work through natural ways. Do you know your ability to lift something is probably well, you don't understand what the capacity you have. These weightlifters, when they lift these weights, if you were properly trained, they say in science you have the ability to take what a weightlifter could barely get up and do like that. You could have the ability to do it with both arms. Really, most of us do. We have it within us. We just don't get to that point, and it's not so important to do it. But we have tremendous abilities within us to do things. I know once I had a slight clot, and it caught somewhere up in here. I got injured. And a slight blood clot got caught up here in my brain somewhere. And it wasn't, once in a while it sticks, but it got caught. And I realized it the first time that I went into the bathroom. And I went into the bathroom and I flushed the toilet, and I looked at, and that water come up out of the toilet. Holy cow, what's happening? And my one eye, my left eye, was like an eagle. I had about 8-power vision with that thing. So when I looked at the water, I looked down the water, I could see anything in it. And I went out and I looked in the room, and the room had a speckled ceiling, and a design. And I could look to the end of the room, I could see the finest detail there in it. Anything. If you took fine print and you put it on the wall back there, I could read it with my left eye. And it was very interesting to my right. I couldn't. But something had made that so I could focus it in, see, to be able to do that. And that's part of what I'm talking to you about, the training. Because we have this innate ability within us. If we knew how to do it, we could do wonderful things. But without me doing anything, my eye focused like that, I could see anything. that you have. I could see the openings and the pores on your skin. I had such good eye with my left eye, and it lasts for a while. Now, isn't that amazing that we have that ability to do those kinds of things? But once in a while you hear of even a mother whose car has fell on one of their children, and they have picked up the car, you know, with that, because they lost track of what they couldn't do, and they did it, you know, to do that kind of thing. So when it comes to building your business, it's the same principle. You don't know what power you have within it, but you can develop it, because there is greater power than you ever realize. You just have to practice it. You may not get to the point where you're picking up cars, but I will tell you what you can do in building your business can be tremendous. But you need to know how to do it and to apply it to the best of your ability. And if you can't do it, then you need to start doing it. And the more you do it, the easier it will become. Not because the task is simpler, but that your ability to do it has improved. That's a key statement right there. So repetition is what really builds results. I mean, when you're in school, don't teachers have you repeat and repeat and repeat? Because after you repeat something about, you start really catching on to it after the third time. And if you listen to a lot of these advertisements that are on, say the radio, when they're talking about something and they give you the number, how many times do they repeat it? If they're good, they repeat it at least 4 times, because that gives you enough to put it into your brain so that you can remember it. So repeating and learning go right together. So if you listen to something and then you don't go over it and over it and over it, you really don't retain it, because you have a short-term memory which flushes it, and you need to build it into your long-term memory. There are many things that you can do in sales and marketing to train yourself to be a lot more skilled, and I'm going to show you just how to do that today. There's the ABCs of training, and here's the thing that you need to do to start with. If you're writing this down, the first thing you need to do is on one line write yes, and in the next line below it write no. Okay? Now, I'm going to give you the definition of yes and no, and it's not yes and no. And so if you've got that down, on yes means yes does not mean yes. So write that down. It means I'll buy. Okay? And then below it, write no does not mean no. It means I don't understand. Now I'm going to train you on how to follow that in what you're doing, because it's so important. And so now I'll come back and tell you why. To start with, people have trouble making presentations, and the reason they have trouble making presentations is because they're ill at ease. They're not confident with the material or any of the things like that. And so they get confused in what they're doing. And there's ways to get around that and to do it. One of it is to, every time you make a presentation, is then to meditate a little bit. I mean, everyone, you know, you're just to meditate. But sit back, relax, close your eyes, and in your mind's eye, go over the presentation and think about how you did it, and what the person said, and what you said. And if you had to go back to it, then how would you say it again? And if they said that, how would you answer it differently to be more effective? And that's role-playing in your mind. But, oh, the brain doesn't know the difference. If you relax yourself, you can relax yourself and you can just go over presentation again. And you can repeat, repeat, repeat. And you can self-teach yourself how to be pretty good on presentations. And once your brain knows how to do it, then it becomes more automatic when you come into that situation to do it. Let me give you an example. It's playing basketball. I read a book once called Psycho-Cybernetics, a very good book. It teaches you on how to train yourself to overcome difficult situations. And I've always been an avid basketball player. I played ball. I love basketball a lot. And in basketball, many of the games are won or lost at the foul line. And if you have a team that shoots a poor percentage of fouls, then they got a good chance of losing. And so I was always a very aggressive basketball player. And I think maybe you can tell that kind of from my personality. I was not like him. Here, you take it and you go. No, man, I want to go through. I had a combination of basketball and football when I played. But because of that, I was driving. I got fouled a lot. And my foul shooting was about average with it. If I shot 25 shots, I'd hit 15 to 17 of them from the foul line. You're only 10 feet away, and you're shooting it, and about 15, 17 out of 25 I'd make, which is okay, and it's about what the average person does. But in this, it says you can, they had an exercise that they did on basketball players, and there's a way to shoot baskets, and just like there's a way to do sales presentations. And I'm going to show you how to do that, and I'll teach you that with baskets. And so, shooting basketball. So it said they took 2 teams of people, and they trained them for 2 months. And one team shot baskets every day for an hour, and the other meditated for an hour and never shot a basket. And they were shooting, they counted how many they could shoot on an average. And then they came back after that period of time. And the team that had meditated were hitting on an average of about 23 out of 25. They'd gone up from 15 to 17 to about 23 out of 25. And the one practicing baskets had hardly improved. You see? Because what they had learned to do in their mind's eye was to improve their presentation of the ball. Okay? So we're going to give you the ball, and you can present it in Sisel, and what you do. And what they did, and you might do this at home, because it's very effective. You can lay down on the bed and just silence, totally quiet. And what they said is you start to think of your body as full of air, which a lot of people, it really is, and Ray's not the only one, there's other people, but hot air. And so what you want to do is you just want to release it. And you think of it with they start with a foot, and you just, it's like in your mind's eye, just get so calm, so relaxed, nothing, and then just think of that foot was full of air with your eyes closed, and just it goes out. You can actually feel it if you work it. If it doesn't, do it again. And then you go through your leg and all the way up, and then the other leg, then the hips all the way down, and do your arms. You can get so relaxed, you cannot believe it, because your mind, as the air is going out, other things happen. And then you're in a perfect state to do it. And then it showed you how to shoot a basket. Then in your mind's eye, see the basket. See you standing there. And how do you stand when you shoot a basket? I mean, people can stand there all different ways of doing it like they want. But you stand there in the proper, there's a right way, you know, with the foot just slightly forward. Then how do you hold the ball? Where's your hand on the ball? Where's the other hand on the ball? How do you bring the ball back to shoot it? How do you shoot it? How do you release it? Follow through. Have you ever seen basketball players go like that and they're not even shooting anything? They're practicing their follow through, because that's it. And if you have your elbow out, you don't have stability. If the elbow's in, you have stability, see? With those kinds of things. If you bring the ball up and shoot it, and this type's up here and you shoot it, and over here it's here you shoot it, you don't have consistency. So it taught you consistency on how to do it. And so I started practicing that myself to see if it did. And I did that. I was playing a lot of ball, and I got down where I could hit anywhere between 23 to 25 out of 25 with that. I mean, it was awesome. Just because I practiced in the bedroom, you know, when I did it, and I became very good at doing that. I used to go to the recreation center when I was a young guy. They would not let me shoot baskets. You know, they have a smaller hoop and a bigger ball, but I mean, I could drill those things because I had learned how to do it. Not because the task, it was more difficult there, but I had developed my ability to do it. So the same thing with you can do in your presentations. You can present your presentation. But if you don't know how to present, then what are you going to do with it? You're going to fumble. You're going to fumble a ball. You're fumbling around. So what you need to do is, number one, just like on Monday, get your presentation down cold and deliver it hot. And even if you deliver it lukewarm, it's okay, because it's like a pot of water that you put on the stove. It's cold to start with, and it warms up, and then it gets boiling over with it. But you have to give it time. You have to keep the temperature on it and going. You have to put the energy to it to make it happen. So that basic principle that Dan teaches on every Monday is probably the single greatest one that you can learn. Because if you haven't got your presentation down cold, then how could you ever possibly deliver it hot? and you want to deliver it hot. So, but I'm telling you that because sometimes we don't even think about that connection so that you can do it. So how do you get your presentation down cold and deliver it hot? The best thing to do is to write it out. And remember this when you're doing and you're selling something. Don't be a jack of all trades and master of none. Pick a specific, and here's number one rule in it, pick a target item, and that is what you're going to sell. Now, it doesn't matter what you're doing with something. If you're going to sell a hair regrower, you're not going to pitch the hair shampoo and the hair conditioner and all of it in the same thing. You're going to pitch the hair grower. And then and here's the second thing, once you have made that sale, you've made that sale, and then you go back and you pitch the next one as an add-on to it because you've made the primary sale. That's the way to do that. Now, making your presentation, you should write it out and you should memorize it. That doesn't mean you're going to present it exactly word for word, but after you have memorized it, you put it through your mind a lot of times, and you storyboard it with what you're doing for your presentation. Just don't start writing, okay? So what are you going to present? The business opportunity. That's the best product we have, is a business opportunity. But then you have to have a product with it. So the thing is, where were you? Where did you come from? Why are you here? And where are you going? Kind of like eternal questions too, isn't it? So and you can start this thing out with what your life is and what you've done, and you aren't accomplishing what you've wanted with it, and now you're here, and this is what you're doing, and this is now what you think that you're going to do. See? So that's a storyboard for presenting your presentation. And you can do it on a product, or you can do it on the business opportunity, or whatever you want. And so with that, you write it out. And then there are things that so those are three things. Where were you? Why are you here? Where are you going? And here's another thing you should write down right now. Being successful in making your business presentations is a matter of threes. Learn to do it in threes, okay? And three is the key thing. And I'll tell you, there are so many things that are important to know in threes. And of course, repetition. Did you hear that, what I just told you? After you do it 3 times, they give the phone number 3 times on an advertisement, then you start to pick it up after that. The first 3, just kind of putting in, then the 4th one really counts. So it's a matter of getting through 3s. So you get your presentation down cold and deliver it hot. Well, you write your presentation out. The other thing I would do, and I'm going to tell you a little bit of a story before I get into this, that shows you just exactly what I'm talking about. Many years ago, I was in the industrial chemical business, and one of my sons came up to me, Derek, and he said to me, Dad, I want to go down and bag groceries and work at the grocery store. I said, to make money part-time, because I'm not one that I believe, of course I wasn't wealthy at that time and we were okay, but I think children need to be taught responsibility and work and all those types of things. But I had an industrial chemical company, and he worked with me. Tom Jr. worked with me in it, and we packaged products, we made them. I had some employees, but I had my boys work too. It was a part-time job with it, and for them to earn money to get cars and to do things. And here Derek was telling me he wanted to go down to the store and be a bagger for groceries. And I said, and so I thought of it immediately, because we lived up on the side of the mountain. And I knew immediately what would happen. He was 14 years old. And I said, how are you going to get to work? And he said, well, I'll have one of my friends pick me up. Oh, yeah, sure. You know how that's going to How are you going to get back? Oh, I'll have one of my friends bring me back. You know, I didn't fall off no turnip truck. I knew that was going to not happen enough times. And then I could see in my own mind's eye, kind of like shooting baskets, some night when I was off on a business trip somewhere else, my wife would get a call late at night. Mom, my ride hasn't come. Can you come and get me? So she'd jump in the car in the middle of the night, drive down off this mountain to these back roads, and she'd get a flat tire. And she'd be stuck there before the days of cell phone, in her pajamas, because she didn't want to get dressed to go down and get him. And guess what would happen? I would get holy heck when I got back, because I didn't make sure that tire was okay, you know. It would come back on me. She may have run over that. It was still my fault with this thing. And so I knew what was going to happen. And so I said, well, Derek, I've got plenty of work for you. You can make all the money you want. And he said, Dad, I'm sick and tired of packaging chemicals and doing something like that. I want to work down there. And I said, so are you going down there to make money or to have fun? And he said, well, to make money, of course. And I said, well, let me tell you what you can do. Then if that's how you feel about it, let me give you a business opportunity where you can make 2 or 3 or 4 times as much money. And I said, you know, with our industrial chemicals, there are no products like it in the world. And it's not that I was breaking science. I was just taking the best of science and building the most powerful concentrated products using the very best ingredients so they could outperform everything. And I said, you know, we had all of the Albertson store chains in a region that we were selling, and lots of other big ones, and hundreds and thousands actually of stores. And we sold our products in hospitals and nursing homes and hotels, and we had bathroom cleaners and glass cleaners. And I had a glass cleaner that you could put on, and actually we'll be bringing this out for Sisel, but it's the only one in the world, and it repels dust and it self-cleans. How would you like that? A self-cleaning glass cleaner, dust and things fall off it with it. How is that for a glass cleaner with that kind of thing? And I have a bathroom cleaner, and just because of the lawyers in this old world, and it's so safe you can put it on your finger and you can go to the most encrusted shower door with it, with all of these minerals and everything on it. And I put it on my finger and I could write my name in it just like that and would dissolve it just like that with it. And that's safe. I mean, how is that for products that demonstrate? And degreasers, yeah, I can make the big heavy Caterpillar, I can spray it on with a spray ball and just watch it run down. Where other companies, you put it on, you're scrubbing to get it off and rinse. I had 4-wax that when it dried, you had to get down and feel it to see that it was not wet. It was that glossy. How would you like 4-wax like that? Supermarkets loved it, hospitals loved it. Didn't yellow, didn't stain, easy to remove with it. All those kinds of things. So that's what I was telling Derek. Now, look at the analogy between that company, those products, those kinds of accounts, and what we have. We are the same here with Sisel. That basic philosophy of taking the best of science, putting them together, doing the most creative, innovative, concentrated things to make products gives us the edge we have. We research the research. We don't have an edge. We are light years ahead of the industry. And even in medicine, we're taking what they're discovering in nature and we're bringing it out. Maybe 30 years from now, because of the process, they'll eventually bring out a synthetic molecule loaded with side effects. They'll do the same thing. That'll cost a fortune, and you'll have to sit in the doctor's office for an hour and a half before he even sees you to do that, and we can sell it right to you. That's what we're trying to do. So I'm putting these analogies to put it back. So Derek, I said, Derek, you could probably make, and I don't know what they're making at that time. I think it was like $3 an hour as a minimum wage or something. And I said, you could make 10 or 12, maybe even $15 an hour, which is really big money. And if you proportion that to where it is today, I mean, you're talking about $40, $50 an hour, you know, which is a pretty darn good wage for a kid. And he liked the idea, but I said, you know, women buy products from supermarkets that those supermarkets would never, ever use themselves. They're so crappy. And so they don't even buy the products that the average industrial chemical company makes, and they let alone, certainly don't have a chance at anything we have. They use the poorest quality products in the world done to give the minimal results, and they make a lot of, they charge a big price on them because most of it goes for advertising and merchandising and all that kind of stuff. And you know yourself, and this was the truth, we had people from literally even all over the world that were writing into us, and we would ship them off a case of bathroom cleaner or glass cleaner or a mixed bag, and we were in that business. But there were so many people that wanted it for their homes that we had a pretty fair business doing that with it. Although we made gigantic amounts of products and commercial laundry, soaps and car wash products and all those types of things. So we had a broad spectrum, but the ones that worked in the home, they did. And he said, okay, Dad, I'd like to do that. And I talked to him about the money-making opportunity. Now, what is in network marketing? Here was a parallel. Almost everybody gets in network marketing to make money. Sure, they love the products, excitement, but they're in it to make money. Yeah. And if the products are great and spectacular, then it gives them one big tool, one piece of the big piece of the puzzle to building the business. Then the compensation plan is really rewarding and fair, and people can make a lot of money. There's the second big piece. Then if they've got the tools and they're trained how to use it and the company supports them, that's the third big piece. There's only really 3 pieces to this puzzle with it. And so with that, I said, Derek, I can show you how to do that. And he said, okay, because he didn't know. He's 14 years old. And so I said, here's what I'll do. And remember, I'd been the national sales manager and national trainer for one of the largest industrial chemical companies in America. So I knew how to train. So I said, I'll write out your script for you. So I wrote it down. And I wrote the phases of what he was supposed to go through. Remember, this is a business of 3s. So the first thing that you do when you're selling is you sell yourself, number 1. Get writing, pick up pen, write on paper. Pick up pen, write on paper. Pick up pen, write on paper. Okay. Number 1, sell yourself. Number 2, sell a company. Number 3, sell a product. And then that right, absolutely must be done in this order. Because if you get it out of order, your sales will decrease significantly. And if you get it in order, they'll increase significantly. So do it always this way, okay? Now with selling a product, it's also a matter of 3s. Okay? So the 3s is, there's the opening, there's the presentation, and there's the closing. And there's ways of doing that. And I'll show you how to do that later, because people over-present and are afraid to close. See? So there's a matter of 3s with that. So the other thing that we're working on, as long as we're talking about 3s, let's write 3s. The average distributor in network marketing signs up 3 people and quits. Some will sign up 10, 20, some will sign up none, some will sign up 1 or 2. But the average is 3 and quit. So we're working with averages, aren't we? Okay. These are very important things to have down, because if you want to train a new distributor, if you've signed up, you should show them this so they don't hit it and think, oh, geez. So they know this is the way it is, and that's what we're going to get you through, okay? So the average distributor stays in a company 3 months and quits. The average distributor needs to make, in today's market, between $300 to $500 a month within that period of time, or they won't stay. The average distributor puts in about 3 hours a week in building their business. Some a lot more, some less, but the average is about 3 with this type of thing. Okay, so with all of that, you've got to get a person to do 3 things to make money. The number 1, they've got to make money fast. Okay? Number 2, they've got to get to where they're at a point to hold them at about $500. Number 3, if you want to lose, or you want to keep almost everybody, if you can get them to $1,000, that should be a goal that you get everybody to, and from there it catches wings, and it's like a bird leaving the nest, it flies. Okay? And I think you would agree with that. You lose almost nobody, except big leaders, of course. But if people are all making $500 to $1,000 a month, boy, you're going to have leaders that are really a big organization that's there. Now, in doing that, you have to have consistency in what you're doing with it. So let's go back to a couple of the basic fundamentals on what we're talking about. If you take a look at a person, you need to make a commitment, don't you? I mean, when you get married, I mean, you can say, hey, let's live together for a while, and then we'll see what happens. I mean, you know, and people do that. But you get married, you sign a contract, you make a commitment, you use pledge, and you do certain things. You should do the same thing, because a distributor, here's the next 3. A distributor is looking for 3 things when they join a business. Number 1, can I make money? Number 2, is it fun and easy? And number 3, will somebody help me? If you cannot provide all of those for the distributor, you're going to lose them, most of them, okay? Most people are not necessarily self-starters, but if they're entrepreneurial, they're at least followers, and they don't know how to do it, so your obligation as a sponsor is to train them on how to do that, see? That's why the Wake Up Sisel call is so good, because we're teaching them the fundamentals of how to do this, and they're in a sequential order that really makes sense so they can follow. And then Monday we repeat it again, and then Monday we repeat it again. Why do we do that? So you can bring people to it, so the people that are there, it becomes ingrained within them, okay? So, now if those are the cases, and those are the 3s that you got to work with, you need to make some mini goals within them. And so if it's making money, first of all, they need to commit. And you want to commit, you want to get on the fast track or the slow track? That's a very easy question to do it. Do you want to be a consumer? Do you want products? Do you want to be in the slow track, or do you want to be on the fast track to success? So there's the number 3s again. Just ask them. What do you want to do? Do you want to consume the products? Do you want to get on the slow track, or do you want to be on the fast track? You tell me, because I've got to work with you, and you need to tell me what track you want to be on. And so if you want to be on the fast track, then you need to convert your bathroom. Convert your home, to these products. That's number 1. So with that, you need to be your own best customer. Second. Number 3, you need to be a product of your product. How can you talk about something if you don't use it and don't experiment? So convert your home, be your own best customer, be a product of your product. All right, now those are all the basic fundamentals that you have down, and then you have to fill it out. So now if you're going to get on the fast track, most people, well, I like to get on the fast track. I don't mean go insanely crazy. I mean work reasonable. You go to a job, you work 8 to 5, okay? This has more dynamics than that, because at 8 to 5 you pay so much an hour for so many hours, and you have basically sold your time. With this, you trade your time for dollars. And when you trade your time for time. When you're trading your time for dollars, you're working for somebody else's future, not yours. And 95% of the people retire at or below the poverty level. After a lifetime of work, they retire at, and that's not just a number, that is real truth. Over 95% retire at or below the poverty level after a lifetime worth of work. So if you're going to change it, you need to put bread on the table, and trading time for dollars is fundamental for all of us to a certain point. But when you start trading time, for other people's time, then you have a dynamics that can be multiplied, not added on. I got so many hours at so many dollars per hour equals this. What you have is you have so much time and so many people and their time who are getting other people's time, and that multiplication factor becomes enormous. Multiplication beats addition any day when it comes to adding up money, and that's the way that this thing works with it. So you have all of those things. Now, if you look at every single thing I told you right there, there's the outline of how to become a successful distributor. Now you need to know how to apply it. So if you're telling you want to get on the fast track, I'm not asking you to make a major investment unless you want to make it that type. If you're that type of person, if you're one of those 20 or 30% that is willing to do it to really get in this, okay, man, we're going, and you're on the super fast track. But what I'm asking you, consumer, slow track, fast track, what do you want? If you're on the slow track, you know what? I'm going to sort of help you, but I got to put my time with people that are on the fast track, because I'm on the fast track and I need people to run with me. I don't need to drag them along. I want them to run with me, see? And look at those terms that I'm saying right there. You can say those same things. I need people to run with me, not I have to drag them along. So if you really want me to get in here and help you, sure, you can buy the products, or you can be on the slow track and I'll give you some support, and you got these other kinds of things, and we'll see what you can do with it. But I'm running. I'm on the fast track, and I need people to go with me that can keep up to speed. So if you're willing to, the first thing is let's convert your home. Now what does that do? That allows you to go in and take all of the products out that they're using and to do something else with them. And if they don't know what to do with them, you can take them for them, and you know what to do with them. The dumpster's right down the road with it. Or better yet, you could take a, wouldn't that be interesting to take a box of all those products with all the products that aren't Sisel safe, with all those potentially harmful ingredients, and put it in a box, and put your mask on, and walk over to your neighbors.
I have this box of products. And they're toxic.
And let me, you hold the product so I don't have to breathe it. And they're toxic, so I want to give you these products because I know you're spending them. I want to save your money. Since you're using these kind of products, here's mine because I've detoxified my house. And good luck. It'd be fun to do that. If you think that's fun, you got the right kind of thing. It'd be fun to hang out. Look, do that. Maybe I do it. Except my neighbors are my sons. But so anyway, the one thing you've got to do then, you need to get them. If I'm going to work with you, if you're on the fast track, I have to have you in the highest paying commission position. And that's that you need to be at platinum level. And platinum level is really easy. Now remember, can I make money? Is it easy? Okay, it's really easy because what we're going to do is all of the products that you're using in your home, those ones full of toxins that are really poor quality, no matter what they say, we're going to get rid of them and we're going to replace them with products that are used for the same purpose, but they're not better than, they are vastly superior to them, and there are no toxins in them. Now, did you see how I presented that? Did I stand here and say, look, and the other thing that's very important with this is a business of passion, and that comes in threes again, okay? You need to be passionate about your business opportunity. You need to be passionate about you and your future. You need to be passionate about the products. Those are the three things, see? Passionate about the products, passionate about the business opportunity, passionate about yourself, your future with it. Passion is what makes it go. If we're going to get married, and I've got to find somebody here that's the right gender to marry because I'm not into that new age crap. But anyway, so if I'm going to propose to you, I'm not going to come up and take a look at you and say, you know, you have pretty nice hair, and your contour of your face is about right. I like your eye color. You're dressing fairly decent, and I can see from the ring you have some money. And your education is good, and you have a decent background, and you kind of like the thing. So what I'd like to do is I'd like to marry you. Do we have a deal? You're too smart there. But when you marry somebody, no, it's not like that. You take her and say, you know, I've been looking at you for a long time. I don't want to embarrass you, but you are gorgeous. I love your voice just lights me up. And the feel of your skin, you know, I don't mean to rub it, but your skin is so nice. Beautiful skin. You see the difference? Put passion in what you're doing. Be passionate about it, with it. This is a business where this passion really means a lot in what you're doing. So if you're passionate about the business opportunity, the products, your future, then work with passion, present with passion, do it with passion, train with passion, sponsor with passion, recruit with passion. Because wasn't that a nicer presentation? Yeah. To do that kind of thing. So it works the same way. So now what they're doing is you need to commit at platinum. But platinum doesn't cost you anything really, but now you come into a logical part of it, and that's a little more difficult for people to understand because now you've replaced all of these products, and here's a list, and you can have your own list. Here's the products you use that we're going to replace. Toothpaste, mouthwash, hair shampoo, hair conditioner, bath and shower gel, lipstick, eyeshadow, all the makeups that you're using, laundry detergent, dishwashing detergent, all of the skincare, weight loss, reversing aging, creating energy. Go through all of these things that you might be using and want to use, and when you're done, you've got a list of what you're going to do. And say now to ensure that you're doing it so that my time is worthwhile in working with you, and we'll do the same with the people you get, I need you to put these products down that you're going to use on a monthly purchase. So we don't have to worry about you've missed your order, you're out of product, you're going to run down to the store and buy Crest or Colgate, you know, instead of it with this toothpaste, and you're going to buy some Pantene shampoo or whatever the brand is that's there. You need to stay committed because remember, you're a product of your product, and you need to qualify every month. So let's get you, well, the discipline might not be that you order online, that you buy it when you're at the store, when you're getting your bread and your milk and your meat and all those things. Now you need to have it just come to you every single month. And if you're not willing to make that commitment, I can't commit to you that way because you're not committed. You see, you need to commit. You're using them anyway. These products are not better than, do you see how I said, they're vastly superior. You see, that's part of the passion in the presentation. And I didn't say, these products are a lot better than the stuff you buy in the store, so you want to use ours. No, these products are, they're used for the same people. They're vastly superior to those mediocre products that are being sold in the department stores, in the stores. These products are the epitome of science. They're spectacular results. So we're not asking you to step down, we're asking you to step up. But for me to make my commitment to help you on the fast track, you've got to qualify. And to qualify, you need to get on an auto purchase, and you need to be at the level where you can get the highest percentage of commission on the downline that, now get this, second part of it, will somebody help me? A third part of it? Because I'm going to help you to get people in to this company, so you need to be at the highest level of commitment on this. And so we're going to bring people in, we're going to get them to do the same. And if you're not doing it, how can we ask them to do it? And I can't afford to spend my time with you, and you need to say that in a nice way, but I've got to be able to justify spending my time with you. And if you're not, see, that's a different way of saying it. And if you don't do it, no. But if I'm going to be able to spend my time effectively with you, I've got to have you committed. I've got to have you earning the highest commission. I've got to have you on auto purchase, and then we're going to go get people to do the same thing. Then I can really work with you to help you to become successful. See, can I make money? Is it fun and simple? Will somebody help me? Okay. So there you've accomplished those types of things. So now we go into, and the first goal you should be is to get their money back. And so you can look and accomplish, in other words, the money they're putting into the company every month, you should get that back to them. Now you can get cerebral about it, and you can tell them this really doesn't cost you anything for the most part because you're buying these types of products anyway. That's part of it. And that's a logical assumption for which they're doing. But I like the smell of this product, see? So you've got, perhaps you have to overcome some of those other things with what they're using, but you need to do it. You say, let's just flat out do it. You want a future? Do you want what you have today for the rest of your life and then get worse and fall off the table? You know, when the end of retirement comes? Or do you want to really do something? So you need to get committed. See, it's a business of commitment. So commit. You commit, I'm going to commit to you. You need to commit to me and your future. Okay? So that's how we can work together. See? 3 levels of commitment. They commit to you, they commit to themselves, they commit to their future. So now with that, what you want to do is get their money back. And you say, it's easy to get your money back because you're buying the products that you're using every single day. Instead of junk, you've got products that are just immense in power and superiority and performance with it. And there's no toxins. You know, where do you think cancer comes from? The worst environment you have is in your home every single day. That's where you contaminate your body. If you don't smoke, you put more contaminants and toxins in your body from the things you're using and doing in your home than all the rest of everything else you do together, including the food that you consume with it. Okay, and an incident today, I just saw a study, what came through and it said, French wine is loaded with pesticides and herbicides. Imagine that. All those gourmet wine drinkers. Well, I think I'll have a glass of pesticide. But you see, you can present these things, and they're fun and easy to do. But so now, what you've got to do is you say, okay, just replacing the products gets almost all of your money back. So I'm not asking you to really make much of a financial commitment. The second thing is that by joining this company, your tax savings are tremendous. In fact, at the end of the year, you'll make about $200 to $300 a month more back. It'll come back to you in a refund because now you have a business opportunity, and if you just do some simple fundamental things, it's worth $200 to $300 a month, and that covers all your products. I know you don't see it till next year, but every month it adds up because you have car expense, insurance, part of your home, part of your electricity, eat out with people on distributors, go on a little holiday and make it a business holiday. Talk to some people while you're doing it. All of these kinds of things, their number will add up, and at the end of the year, it's worth about at least $200 a month to you. So what I'm asking you to do by simply being your own best customer and working it is we're probably close to doubling your money, because you'll be paying it anyway, and then the tax benefits will pay it back to you again. So I've made money just by you doing this. See, now that's logical. Not quite as passionate, but exciting. So now we're going to talk, now that you understand all that. That's a lot of information, isn't it? Right there to do it. But you ought to get it. Now it's on video. You've written it down, and you need to review it. You need to watch the video. Maybe you even need to take this video and show it to somebody else, because people don't think of all those things. But I'm very experienced in it, and I know how to do this, so I'm telling you those types of things. So now let's go back into the basic fundamentals. Now you've got them committed and do that. And so it's a matter of selling. Selling is not a dirty word, it's a wonderful thing. And that's what you need to think about. Selling, until something is sold, nothing really happens until a sale is made. If you understand that. I mean, what do you have on you that you did not buy, that something wasn't sold to you in one way or another? What do you not own that you did not buy? So selling is what makes the world go round with this. Now, the highest paid professions in the world are people who are involved in sales. Overall, they make a lot more money than any other profession. That includes entertaining, see? I mean, you think you can be an entertainer, I can sing, but spend your life in the Holiday Inn with 3 or 4 people. They're getting stoned out of their mind while you're playing the guitar, and that's not much of a future, is it, with it? But with selling, you have a chance. But with selling, there's the dynamics of so many calls, so many presentations, so much commission. And that's the way the sales work. This is sales. Network marketing is sales on steroids, because you can get, instead of a big chunk on what you do, you get a very good percentage on what numbers of people can do over generational bonuses. So the magnitude is enormous. You can make, some people will make in a week and what they'll make in a month, and some people will make in a week what they make in a quarter. You know, with this kind of potential in the income, is simply a matter of numbers. So the next thing that you would want to do is lay out a program to the person. Here's the objective of what we're going to do. You see, if you don't know where you're going, how are you going to get there? Okay? Now, you can throw it to the wind and see which way it blows, but that's a problem with it. So if I said, okay, we're having a race, everybody get up and run. And we all get up and run, and we didn't race to where? Where are we going? What's the objective? Are you going to race to Pacific Ocean, Atlantic Ocean, or across the parking lot? So you don't know. Which direction do you go with it? So it's the same thing in telling them where to go and say, here's what we're going to do. Our initial objective are these. And you go through the 3 to get your money back. But here's what we're going to try and accomplish. You've got about 3 months to do it. What we want to do is get you to enroll 3 people. And I'm going to help you. And so it's going to be 2-on-1. And we're going to get 3 people, because I've got more expertise, and if we don't have enough to do it, our upline will come in here and help us, and I'll call on them to do it, and we got some good ones that can help you. And we're going to do it by presentations, we're going to do it by 3-way calls, but we've got to get your list of names, okay, to do that. And then what we're going to do is we're going to get those 3 to get 3, and then we're going to get those 3 to get 3. So everybody just gets 3 people, and here you sit. You have 39 people, and if they're all buying about $200 a month, this is our goal, then you're going to make, on an average, $1,080 a month, and that's pretty good. And that's a double lifestyle change. $500 changes your lifestyle. $1,040 is the average home payment in America, so that's a double lifestyle change. For this money, you can put 2 Mercedes in your driveway, or you can pay your house payment with it. So that's a big, and that's just the beginning. And that's easy. You only get 3 people. And you and I will work with them to get 3. And then you and them, and possibly I will work with them to get 3. And we're going to do that in 3 months. That's our 3-month program, because we've got 3 months to get you there. So that means you've got to make a real commitment for 3 months to do that. But that's not so tough. We're only asking you 3 people, and you know thousands of people already that we're going to work on. So that's the basis that you're going to start out. But in order to do it, you got to get your presentation down cold and deliver it hot, and you got to get your list of names. So now we go right back to my son Derek, that was looking to make extra money. And so I told him all of these stories about, you know, the housewives don't have good products, they're buying all over the world, so what am I doing? I'm finding a need. See, they need these products. But the products they're buying from the store are absolutely junky, and they cost a lot of money, and they're full of toxins. and they do the work and it doesn't do it well enough and it comes back, okay, there's creating doubt. The third phase, and that's of selling, is provide a solution. So find a need, create doubt, provide a solution. It's fundamental in everything that you're doing in selling. So then the third one is, here's the story. My dad has an industrial chemical business, and this is what I told him, and we make product, we sell almost all of the big casinos in Vegas and the major hospitals and nursing homes, and the supermarkets themselves use the products that we're producing because they would never use the ones that you do because the performance is too poor and the cost is too much. So my dad said to me, hey, I wanted to get a part-time job. He said, go take these products to the women of the world. They need them and they would want them. They just can't get their hands on them. They're doing the work, but they're not getting what they want. And it'll cost them less and they can have higher performance. And so that's what your presentation is going to be. And when they open the door, here's your opening. And now we get back to do it. Your opening is, you tell them that story and you say, and you know what? Every home in America, including every home in this neighborhood, has got a dirty bathroom. Okay?
That's true.
All right, find a need. Say we're talking about a product. And everything that you do doesn't really do it right, does it? Create doubt. My dad, who's a chemist, has developed a product that is so safe that you literally can put it on your finger and you can go to that dirty shower door with mineral and soaps come on it that you can't get off, and if you use something like Ajax or Comet, you scratch the heck out of it and ruin that surface. And I can put my finger on it and I can write any letter or anything on it and it will just melt away. And I would like to show you that. Now we're talking about demonstration, see? Anytime you demonstrate, 400% better chance of closing. And now, here's the next thing that I told him. Understand one thing. In a home, it's a personal reflection of a woman. She sees it as that. It's part of her. And so a dirty house is really a personal reflection of the woman because that's how they see it. They're so interested. And men, we don't care. Hey, come on over. Here, I'll just take the stuff, throw it off the couch, just sit in here, kick this out of the way. Sit down, let's talk. And we don't think anything about it. Okay, guy sits down. The wife, after she comes up, why didn't you tell me they were coming? You know, this house is a mess. What are they going to think of me? You know, she doesn't think anything, but she does. Say, isn't that true?
Yeah.
Okay. So I said, take that sword out of their hands and say, look, I know you've got a cluttery bathroom. We do too. Everybody does. All the houses I go into it, and we're used to it. So let's just, we'll go in there and just move some of that side. And let me show you because I can make your bathroom sparkle. Now what am I doing? Selling you got it, right. Selling the benefits right there. I can make your bathroom sparkle like you've always wanted it to, but you couldn't. And so, there he did. And so I wrote the pitch out for him, the presentation, all of that I'm telling you about right up to the point of doing it. And so then I had him do what? Go out? Huh, he wasn't ready. I trained him. I said, you go down and memorize it. And then you come up and you present it to me. And he knew I was a professional salesperson, so I knew what to do. So he went down and he memorized it. And then he come upstairs. And I just, in the bedroom, I'd let him, okay, give me your presentation, Derek. And he'd stand up there and he'd give me the presentation. And I would critique him, and I told him, and you can do the same thing with your distributors, but you can actually conscientiously critique him, and you should do it after a presentation. Say, now let's talk about the presentation, not about you, but about what to do to improve the presentation. See, anytime you say the word you didn't do this right. If you had done this better, they take it as a personal affront, so take the word you out of it. If it was done this way, it would have been more effective. If this was said, we'd have had a better result. So talk about the problem, not about the distributor, because you're trying to build up their confidence. So take the word you or your out of it. Why did you say that? No, if that hadn't been said and had been said this way, it'd be more effective. See? And so learn to do those things. That's really a big thing in training. If you can learn to take the word you out of it when you're trying to help somebody in what you're doing. So Derek had come up and make the presentation, and I told him, here's what you're doing wrong, Derek. And number one, you don't have a good grasp of your material, so you need to practice it. The other thing is you're fumbling for it, so you're saying, and my dad, well, he's a chemist, and he's trying to make products, and we're making them for all of the, you know, those, you don't even realize you're saying it. Those are little things that you do. So I said, cut these words out of it and do it. And so then you go down and practice it. Then you come up and I'd say, Derek, you sound like you're memorized. It's memorized. So now you start, say it into a recorder and then play it back and listen to it. And listen to see if you can sound like you're saying it, because you need to say it like you believe in it and with some passion with this thing. You know, my dad, I'm here because my dad makes the most powerful products in the world, and we sell them to all of the big hospitals and nursing homes, and the casinos are using them. And I wanted to have a part-time job, and he said, oh, don't go down and do that. You know how women are after us for these products when they find out what they are, and the junk that they buy in the stores. We're selling the stores the stuff they use. They wouldn't use that kind of thing. See the difference in the delivery? They don't have to be quite that animated, but like that. And he says, take these out and give women a chance to really clean their house with it. And you know how every single person has a dirty bathroom, and we can just melt it away. Wow, that's a big thing to women. Sanitary, clean, shiny, bright, all of that. And so do it with passion with it, to the point of it. And he sort of did it, squeaked some of it out. It's a little embarrassing at first, especially for a kid, to do that. But do it in the recorder, and then you listen back to it and see where you're stammering, where you're not flowing, where you're not putting enough inflection. But don't be wired out of your gourd every single minute, because that's not what it is. That's not true. What you've got to do is you've got to be believable, you've got to be deliverable, you've got to learn those basic things. And so he went down and he practiced it. And then I'm going to show you, I'll make a demonstration here in a minute on how to do that, how to make a cell. And so he was standing there, he was talking to me, and he'd be standing there and he'd be telling me about it. And I was talking to him about body posture, you know. He was doing all these things that were wrong. And I said, you've got to do the fundamentals. There's three things: sell yourself, sell the company, sell the product. And you're not selling yourself right when you're doing that. This means, you know, that you're blocked and you're doing it. This means you're unsure. This means you really don't care, you know, that lack of eye contact, all of those types of things. And you've got to look like you're happy and you're making a sale instead of trying to tell them that their relative died. It's a funeral, you know. You've got to make it so that it's interesting to them and upbeat, because people like to buy from people they like, right? Okay, so he went down. Now here we are. Up he comes. He's ready. He's got his presentation down cold, and he's ready to deliver it lukewarm. But that's okay. It heats up with presentation. It's like turning it up on high. You can put your finger in it for a long time, but pretty soon you got to take it out because it's got hot. And so he's ready to go out and deliver it lukewarm. So I said, yeah, you get your presentation down, Derek. You're right. You're ready. Okay? You're right. And so I said, and this is a business where if you do demonstration, you close 4 times more customers. So I'll put you together a sample pack. You got to have something to show, don't you? You got to have something for people to try, don't you? And what do you want to lead in with? A fabric softener, or something that makes the bathroom sparkle, you know? Or something that's the world's best tasting cup of coffee that you've ever had. This little thing for 60 cents will taste better than Starbucks at $3 or $4. See? Okay? Okay? So it's the same principle. So I gave him the literature. He had it, his distributor kit, if you will. He had order forms. It was all organized. He had products to sample. And so we went out. I knew what I was doing. He did not know. But he thought he was ready. So we went out. And we had a little ATV, because he wasn't old enough to drive. So we went out and I said, here's some saddlebags for my horses, your briefcase. And we threw them on the back of the ATV. We loaded everything up with the products. And he looked at me and he said, where am I going? You see, he didn't have his list of names. You see? Day 2. He did not have his list of names. So wanting it to be a learning experience, I said, well, go down and see the mayor's wife. He said, no way, I'm not going to go see that witch. She was a wicked witch. The mayor was the nicest guy in the world. He got elected. If she'd been doing it, she wouldn't have got a vote other than her own. But they were Jack's crap, you know. And so, no way, I'm not going there, because even though she was in the church we're in, she was in the neighborhood we're in, and we lived up there, we were living on acres there, and everyone knew everyone. There was no way he was going to go see her, because he knew she was one ornery gal. And I said, oh, okay. So let's go back in the house. So we went in the house, and I said, let's write out the list of the people that you know the best that will listen to you because they like you and that you have a better chance of buying or selling. And so we sat down and we wrote that list of people that they knew out. And he made his list from the ones he knew the best, that he had the best relationship, clear down to the ones that he didn't hardly even know, just acquaintances and things like that. I said, okay, when you get down partway down this list, you keep working it, but you get to the point it doesn't matter where you go. So I said, now you know where to go. So he was ready. So he went out and he went to call on the people on the hot list that he had. And he went and called on them and started making the presentation. And he made presentation and presentation and presentation, going door to door, selling door to door. Can you imagine that? A 14-year-old kid selling cleaning products, going door to door. And he did that for a considerable amount of time until, and I don't quite know how long it was, but there was a time where he made, from the start to when he had a track record going, and he made over 400 presentations until he missed a sale.
Oh, wow.
Over 400 presentations before he missed a sale. Now, you tell me, are you a 14-year-old kid? You got more mileage on you with that and experience, and your brain is fully grown and developed. His wasn't. But he made over 400 presentations before he missed a sale, and that woman bought her supplies once a year. And so what he did is he said, okay, because he was managing his business, and he put down what everyone, these are on the days of those little index cards, and he put down what every single person was using and what he had sold them and when he was going to come back to them. How is that? And so he put her down. When do you buy? And so he put her down on it, and when she bought, and when that time came up, he went there and she bought from him. And so then one day he was driving down the road. Now this shows you how it works. He was driving down the road on the ATV and he went past the mayor's house. And there was the mayor sitting out on, he was out sitting on the fence, he said, painting it. And so Derek drove down the driveway in his ATV. And the mayor said, well, hi Derek, how you doing? I'm doing pretty good. What are you doing? I'm going to go down and sell your wife some of the cleaning products that we make. And the mayor looked at him and suddenly, their friend, he said, well, good luck. So, but Derek was now a veteran. He had made 400 consecutive sales without missing one, and he had seen it all, and he was through his fear factor. That's the number one thing you do by making presentations. Even if you're not successful, you can get through your fear factor. And he reviewed it. And he would come back with me at night and talk about what he had said and things he had run into, and I gave him more advice because I was his sponsor. You see? I didn't go with him, but I was his sponsor. Okay, so it's the same thing with you. Review what they're doing, set their agenda. He planned his schedule. He had his time. He worked his plan with doing it. So down the driveway goes, and long driveway down the house and back in the woods, knocks on the door. She comes there. She knows Derek. She sees him in church every week, that kind of thing. She opens the door. She says, yes. Can you imagine that? Yes. You know, what are you doing here at my door? So he goes through his presentation. She's listening to him, and you can see the pain on her face, like she had been drinking Ganoderma coffee sold by these other. And so anyway, she was going through it, and so Derek pitched her on, no, my bathroom's fine. No, it's not dirty. He knew it was, and she was standing there at the door, didn't invite him in the house, and so he was standing there. But his skill set had improved so much. So remember The fundamentals of what I told you. That which is difficult to do, you keep doing it until it becomes easy to do. Not because the task has become easier, but that your ability to do it has improved. And that's where he was at. So after going through all this and not letting him in the house, he looked around. Remember, you got to be a hawk, you got to be looking. And he said to her, because I talked to him about the psychology of women in their houses and that type of thing, and he said, I can get that spot out of your carpet. Silence. There's time to shut up. I can get that spot out of your carpet. Now think of that. You don't care. You're fine. It's there. You walked on it for years. It's okay. I can get that spot. I can get that spot out of your carpet.
Really? Then try. Okay. Show. Well, let me see you do it.
That's what she said.
Show.
Exactly what she said, because he knew how to present it. Let's see you do it. He grabbed his stuff. He went in, because that spot was not a spot in the carpet. It was a personal reflection of what a pig she was. I mean, for her, she's filthy. She got a pot. That spot was pulsing. It was vibrating. Everybody could see it. Who walked through the front door could see that spot on her carpet. She'd never get over it for the rest of her life. She had to get that spot out. See? That's the psychology of it. You don't give a hang, nor do you. Oh, it's been there for years. It's fine. But to her, see, he worked on the psychology. I have women come up and talk to me when I've done booths before, and I tell her, women as they get a little bit older, they start developing these lines on your lips, and I can see some of those are starting to form on yours, and this product will remove those. Man, they can go through the whole convention. They'll come back and buy that product. You see? And it's the same thing. So anyway, I animated that a little bit, but that's how it was. It was living. It was alive. It was reflecting on what a poor housekeeper should. And wasn't it what a poor housekeeper? It was reflecting on her personally. See, you women take those things that way, don't you? It's the natural way of it, because you're caregivers. You really care and the quality of life. So he went in. He cleaned the spot out, and then what did he do? He had sold her the spot remover, hadn't he? That was the target item that worked for what he said. And so then once you've made the sale, then you add on it. And he said, you got a spot in your carpet, and I know you've got mineral deposits all over your bathroom that's a lot worse than that. How could she now deny it? She'd been exposed with the spot on her carpet. And she said, okay, let's see. And so he went in and he sold her all of the products in the bathroom, and then went to the kitchen and the glass cleaners and all of those types of things. And he went back out, got in, drove up the driveway, and the mayor said, well, Derek, how'd you do? He said, oh, I sold her a whole bunch of products for doing all this thing, cleaning all those things in the house. Now, I don't profane, but the mayor, he said, I'll be damned. Now, can you not use that story to understand it and apply the same principles in building your business?
Yeah.
Yes, you can. See? It's a business of threes. So now, with time edging up, I'm going to show you the last thing that's really important, and that is how to sell yourself, how to sell the company, and how to sell the product. I'll show you how to present, how to open, how to present, and how to close. Okay? With that. So that's the sequence of what you're going to do. So as everyone writes that down, I'll just take a sip of the bubbly. So now, here we are. And you're going to go talk to somebody to make a presentation. Number one thing, look like you're professional. Have your tools with you. Be prepared for it. Can you imagine a doctor walking into surgery without any tools, without dressed in the proper gown, without sanitized, all of those things that they do. So dress for success. You're not a stud muffin, don't dress like that. You're a professional business person, but you're not some bum who walks in there in a tank top with your shirt hanging out and a baseball cap on sideways or backwards. Look like you're a professional person, because you are. This is a professional business. And we can get you to a 5-figure income, and that's our goal, to get you there, and that's a professional income. So look like you're professional to start with and be prepared to do business. This is not on the fly. This is professional business that you're doing. And you'll make more money than most doctors will ever make in this kind of business, and most attorneys, if you do this thing right. Okay, so then when you go, then present yourself properly. You're selling yourself. So when you're there, now I'm standing here, I've got hands on hips, you know, as I'm teaching, but I'm sort of in command, you know. But the idea with it, when you're there, don't stand there like this or like that or anything else. Stand up straight, okay? Stand up straight so that people can see you're there and you're addressing them. So that's the first thing. Dress for success, be prepared, and stand up straight when you're doing it. When you see them, then you're selling yourself. Selling yourself is the shortest part of this segment, and it's simply in making the presentation. So what I'm going to do with you, if I could borrow you, I'm going to make a demonstration here. Just come up so sideways to the camera here so we can see it. So what you do is when you're talking to somebody, you want to come up. And so you're looking at me, talking to me, and if I'm not looking at you and I'm talking about these kinds of products and telling you what a great business opportunity, am I really convincing you? No, I'm not. But if I stand up there and I start, hey, I got a chance for you to make a lot of money. Wrong. I got it in reverse. That's part of the presentation. I'm selling myself. So now I look at you, and I look at you with friendly eyes, you know, and I put a smile on my face, but not when you talk about looking with eyes, you know. You want to have a nice smile, friendly eyes. Now remember, I'm in charge. I'm making the presentation to you. I am the one that is directing this thing. I'm not waiting for you to ask me. I'm presenting to you and to get you a response. So when I come up to you, I come up and I make the advance because I want to come into your space to a certain degree. I want to penetrate, but I don't want to penetrate because that's a little bit unnerving. So what I do is I take a half a step forward, see that? And I extend my hand, see? And I look in your eyes, see? It's really nice to meet you. See, then I come around to the square. See how easy that is? You should practice that as you come up. It's really nice to meet you. I've been looking forward to meeting you. You see how simple that is? Makes all the difference in the world because you look professional, you're friendly, you have friendly eyes, and I said, pleasure to meet you. And you should be happy to meet them. That should be genuine. But you have to practice that because you're scared and you don't want to, especially at first, you don't want to reflect that back. And then when we're talking, we need to talk about something. The reason I wanted to talk to you is we have a mutual friend. See, now this is not really a warm market. If it's even if it's a friend, you kind of want to approach this way too. You don't want to go, hey buddy, I got something for you, you know, that type of thing. No, don't do it that way. This is professional because if you're buddying them, they'll buddy you back, and it'll take your cell away. So you come into them and you do that. We have a mutual friend. You know, they were telling me about you and some of the things you did, and I heard this, or you know, anything. You want a little bit of chat, just enough to break the ice, you know. And as I, you know, as I was coming up here, I looked at it. You have a beautiful yard. Wow, do you have it manicured, or do you have it professionally done?
Yes.
Oh, you do? Well, wow. I wish I could. I couldn't work hard enough with mine to make it look like this. It's absolutely gorgeous. You're lucky to have that. And why I'm here, see how it is? Just broken in. Oh, did you catch that fish? Wow. That's yours? Where'd you catch that?
Lake Tahoe.
Oh, gee. How many years ago was that?
About 2 years.
I heard you're a pretty good fisherman.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, that's good. I like to fish too. You know, I like to fish too. See, that kind of thing. I'm like, yeah, I like to fish too.
Or autograph football.
Yeah, anything like that. You look for their interest. You're a hawk. You're looking. Okay. Now, the reason that I'm talking to you is because I believe you're the type of person that would look at an opportunity to really do something incredible in your life. And I have that. Because see, I'm the factory representative. Did you catch that? Okay, I'm the factory representative. These other companies selling network marketing, they're not factory representatives. They do not make the products that they sell. Most network marketing companies do not. You're just a distributor, and they're buying from somebody else that's making it for them. And sometimes they could even be buying from a broker that buys from somebody else that does that type of thing. But here's the unique difference, because you can overcome network marketing with this. And catch this, because it's a big thing that people have. You are the factory representative from one of the largest manufacturing companies in America. See? Now how does that fit? That's slick, smooth. Okay, so I'm the factory representative for a company called Sisel, and its products are made by one of the largest companies in America, and they manufacture products for Walmart and Costco and GNC stores, many different companies selling on the internet, direct sales, export products all over the world. But they've developed a company called Sisel within their structure. And Sisel is much different than these other products. Now you notice how I'm making that presentation? I'm telling him and Sisel, see, all those things. All those things, don't get wild with your gestures, but put a little action into it. See, because what we want to do when you put a little action and you talk about things like that, what it does is it takes your mind off thinking he's trying to sell me, you know, and it makes, this is the psychology of selling, okay? So they make products for all of these companies, and they make really good quality products, but the problem is they're not high performance products, and that's pretty well what everyone in the world is selling. Now see what I'm doing? Creating doubt, right there, okay? So I'm doing that. But in Sisel, they realize that there are some really highly advanced discoveries made. Or, you know, I'm saying that. There are some, they realize, because they research the research, and they have a team of scientists that's headed up by a brilliant founder. But this company has got a team of scientists by a founder. He's built this giant company, $1 billion a year from nothing with this. But these great discoveries that are made in science aren't getting to the marketplace. They're actually being made by pharmaceutical companies so they can make a synthetic drug that'll be sold. But it takes about 20 years or 25 years to get through the process. So the great things that are discovered don't get to the marketplace for many, many years, and many more discoveries are made. But what they said is these are products that are natural, and they can be sold, but they can be concentrated, and the performance that these companies are proving in the field, so they can invest $1 billion or $2 billion to bring out a synthetic molecule that does the same, or drug that does the same, we can have in the natural form now. So there's an immense amount of power in these products. Now, am I into his space a little bit? Yeah, I'm presenting. See, I'm not back here, I'm up here. See, an immense amount of power.
Offering a solution.
See how it's flowing? Yeah, I'm providing the solution. Now I've done that. So now what have I done? I've sold myself, this giant manufacturing company, making for all of these companies, but they have a division that sells the most highly advanced products in the world, products that you've never seen before. The science is there, but because of the expense of it, they're not being sold. But because they manufacture, and the founder of this is dedicated to buying them direct and bringing them out to compete with these ineffective products with comparably priced products, but with spectacular rather than mediocre results. And that's the company that I'm representing. And I wanted to tell you, now see, here I go, right into the product. I wanted to tell you about something I thought you would be interested in. Now what am I saying? See, I wanted to tell you about these products. No, I wanted to tell you about these products. There's one product I think you'd really be interested in. And you tell me if you're not. And so now I'm ready to present the product. Okay? So I can present any kind of a product that I want. And this product, with this product comes a sensational opportunity to create wealth and success with it. And it's literally as simple as this little purple packet right here. And you know what this is? It says coffee, but it is not coffee. It is coffee like you have never tasted before. This is the finest tasting coffee in the world. It exceeds even Starbucks. In fact, as the World Coffee Association says, this is the #1 ranked flavor, and when you taste it, you will see why. On top of that, it's expensive. This coffee really sells for a lot. But our company, when they realized it, they built a coffee processing manufacturing plant right within our plant because it's gigantic with it. It's 10 square acres of manufacturing. And so they built that, put that in, so they could buy this coffee direct and bypass all a half a dozen middlemen so that we could have not a cup of coffee, but the world's finest coffee, and then it's different than that. It's also loaded with health benefits that you never find in coffee. And so they fortified it. And healthy doesn't mean it tastes bad. Healthy means it's great for you, and this coffee has the best tasting flavor in the world. See? So, you see the presentation? And now, with that, how many people, well, you don't have to ask him, you can involve them, but you don't realize, 95%, you probably do, 95% of the people in the world drink coffee. It's the second highest commodity traded next to oil. I had no idea, did you? That it was that big? But it is. And people drinking coffee, but they drink coffee and it's bitter coffee, but they use it because they get sort of a push and energetics, but there's a downside with it. There's a harmful side to coffee. So this company, because they're an advanced research and development company that makes spectacular products, have eliminated the bad ingredients in coffee by not buying the right bean, by not processing it right. That doesn't mean that it's done a thing to the flavor. Actually, the flavor is sensational with this. And with that, they have biological properties in this thing. Literally, there's new science out showing that coffee, if you can believe this, can build clusters in the brain. And as the brain, especially Alzheimer's things I think is wearing out, this will build clusters back in the brain. And a new study just came out today showed that it is powerful against prostate cancer. But more than that, you don't get a coffee buzz with it. What you get is it's uplifting because everything's in balance. You see, this bean comes from Panama. And in Panama, according to the World Coffee Association, the world's best bean grows because it's at a high altitude where a lot of sun elicits all the flavor. It's in a sweet soil where almost all coffees grow in lowland and sour soils. And with that, you have the best bean, the sweet soil that is grown from Panama. And with that, we have a coffee that tastes like no other. And I'd like to have you try that. Because once you try it, even if there's nothing else, you'll never want to drink another coffee in your life. But if you want to drink coffee and make money, I'll show you how you can make maybe more money than you're making right now, and maybe double, triple. The potential is enormous because there's never been anything like this before. Okay? So then I could have him taste the coffee. Boy, it comes up. But so I explained it to him. Yeah, he's wanting to take it. So now what I've done the opening. I've sold myself. I've sold the company. I've made the presentation on the coffee. The opening of the coffee, I've created doubt within it. This is the world's best tasting coffee. Other coffees are not this way. And now I'm providing the solution, you see? And with that, I'm building a huge organization of people. Can you imagine drinking coffee and making money? Could you imagine drinking coffee, you could put a brand new Mercedes in your driveway? It's so easy to do with that kind of thing. But more than that, I mean, it can give you retirement that will never go away, you see? But I'd like to, and then you have the point where you're selling a product or you're selling a business opportunity, and you can have them taste the coffee, and if they taste the coffee, and remember, if they taste the coffee, then just as he drinks it, isn't that great? Doesn't that taste delicious? See? Easy. See? Subtle with it. Yes, it is. Does this look like something that you would like to have?
Yes.
See? Yes. Okay. Remember, yes means a lot. Well, great. Let me tell you what we can do for you. What kind of coffees do you like? Because we have the black, they have latte. See? Yes means I'll buy. So now I say, okay, well, what kind of coffees do you like? This is the black. Do you like a latte or mocha? Because they all taste really great with this. And so,
like a mocha.
Yeah. So which would you prefer? See, the choice. Which would you prefer? Give them a choice with this. And so then you're right down. Okay. Now here's what I would suggest that you do. How much coffee do you drink? And so blah blah blah. And then you say, right, this is what I'd recommend, and we can have it.
And the nice thing about it, you can't find it in the store because those are okay tasting coffees, but they're not healthy, and they don't have this tremendous flavor. And this will cost you about what store coffee did. And it tastes a lot better than even a company like Starbucks has, which has the world's best tasting coffee. You know, it's commercially sold with this thing, but this is far beyond that. And so we should, I can send you it every month and have it just delivered to your door. And then when you taste it, take it to work, let some other people taste it, and we'll help you build a business so that you can really make some money out of this and create a financial stream that you won't believe. Does this look like something that would be good for you?
Yes.
Okay, I've already sold the coffee. Okay, well now here's what we need to do to get you signed up, see? Okay, so that's yes, yes, all the way through, and he's a little too well. It's a good thing he wasn't a woman or he'd be continually pregnant. But anyway, so now he said that kind of thing. So if he says no, does this look like something that you would like? Okay, no. Oh, what is it you don't understand? Maybe you should.
Well, what are some of the health benefits?
Yeah, okay. So then I explain it. Now do you understand?
Yes.
Oh, good. So now, see, yes. So I explained the health benefits, and I said, now do you understand?
Yes.
Yes. Yes means I'll buy. Remember? Okay, so let's get you set up. What you prefer for black coffee? Oh, and we'll put it so it comes to you every single month on this thing, and you don't have to worry. Now you don't have to worry. You have the world's best tasting coffee, healthy for you, and it comes every month. And if you want to change it, you can change it. But now comes the big opportunity. See, I've sold the coffee, now I'm moving on to the opportunity. Now there's a chance for you to not have to get your coffee for free. It's so easy to do, and I'll help you do it because we got a business opportunity, because this company's a manufacturer and they share the wealth. And I want to show you this business opportunity that we have to build it, and I can help you to create an income that you might be shocked at how much it will be. It could be a 5-figure, even a 6-figure income for you just from drinking coffee. Okay. Does this sound like something that would be good for you?
Oh, yes.
Okay, let's sit down, let's go over it, and we'll get you signed up and get all this kind of thing done, and then you go through the rest of it. Thank you. Appreciate that. Now, do you see how easy that flowed? It flowed. Could you not do that if you practiced it? Yeah. And if you don't do it well, what do you do? Yeah, you practice, you do it, you heat it up. Just like you heat up everything else till it gets cooked, until it gets hot. So that's the things you do. Those are the basic fundamentals in how to build your business. And you can use them time and time again. And you can be like Derek. So now let's come full circle back to Derek. Okay? My little 14-year-old son who is out building this business. He started getting so many calls that we had to install his own phone line in our house because we were sick and tired of answering calls for his customers. They were calling right and left to get all these things. And so he had his own phone. He had his own phone in there. He had his own little office center. He had his own little warehouse that he was doing this. And the irony of this thing is one day I was really hurting to get a bunch of products out. And I said, Derek, I need you to help me to get these products out because I was in the commercial industrial chemical business. And I said, can you come down and help me? And he said, you know, Dad, I really can't. And I can't afford to work for you. But if you really need somebody, I could get one of my friends to come and do it, because if I'm going to spend my time, I'm not going to earn $3 an hour. Now that's the end of the story. Now, how would you like to have this tape?
Yes.
How'd you like to do a training with it with your people?
Yes.
And then out of that, you can write down everything that I said, all the notes that you took, and you can practice yourself so you can be about as fluent as I am. Why? Because you have it within you. You have that ability for an eye to see, to read the fine print on the wall if you want to develop it. Maybe it won't get to there with it, but you have that ability to do it. You have ability to mentally practice shooting baskets, that when you come back after 2 or 3 months of doing nothing but practice them in your mind's eye, you can go from 15 out of 25 to 23, 24, or 25 out of 25. It just is a matter of doing it right and practicing it until you're comfortable and you know the right way to do it. That's the secret to success. Doing things right and practicing and doing it. Get your presentation down cold and warming it up until it becomes hot. And that's the process that every single person on earth goes through that's going to be successful. whether they're in law studying all of these things, whether in business learning the principles to be an MBA, whether they're a physician practicing to become a surgeon and to do these types of things, they all go through that process. It's a basic fundamental of life. And this is a very professional business, and it's highly rewarding, and it has potential beyond all of those because it's based upon not you, but what you can get others to do, and the principle of multiplication is there. So, take back your life. Get your rear in gear and get doing it, because it's going to be done. And thousands are doing it now. Tens of thousands are doing it now. It's going into the hundreds of thousands, and then into the millions, and then into the tens of millions. And you're here right now, and you have the chance to create the future that you may have dreamed of, or a future that you have never dreamed of. I took $100 to $1 billion. I never had any concept of it. How would you like to have that dream home? Not the kind that these companies tell, put on your refrigerator, the picture of it, and that vacation that someday you may get to take. How about taking it every year? How about having that magnificent car in your driveway and in that house, and having that great house up there, and doing things for yourself and your family and your children and living that life? It's here for you. All of it's here. We've created this company so you can have the most dynamic, spectacular company on earth. It's designed for you. It's Sisel. It's your company. All you have to do is learn how to do it, and then do it, and you'll see life unfold for you like you've never seen before. That's part of the system.